Hey folks, thanks for checking into the Neutral Zone Hotel. We are an unapologetically left-leaning podcast exploring hockey at its best and worst. My name is Benjamin. My pronouns are he, him. I'm an Ottawa-charged Montreal Canadiens fan here in Ottawa, Ontario. And I'm joined by a couple of my co-hosts, starting with Madison.
Hi, I'm Madison. My pronouns are she, they, and I am a fan of hockey in Colorado and the Minnesota Frost.
And we've also got SJ.
Hi, I am SJ. My pronouns are they, them. I am a fan of various Seattle area hockey teams, and it is a beautiful day in Seattle.
It's not too bad here in Ottawa. About 23 degrees.
It's so hot in Denver right now. It is so hot.
I've heard that, and it does not sound pleasant.
It's really gross.
Yeah. Summer is coming. Summer is coming, and our summer hiatus is coming. We are rolling right into the end of hockey season.
Yeah, that's right, folks. So I guess we will just start by talking about the upcoming calendar for the Neutral Zone Hotel. So we're going to do this episode. The next episode, we are going to do Mailbag, and we are going to do a couple games because not much hockey is going to happen between now and then. Maybe some trades or something like that, some signings. And then we'll do our annual boy auction spectacular at the end of the month. With the lack of fireworks around the NHL free agency this year, we've agreed that we don't feel the pressing need to cover it. If something crazy happens, we'll do an emergency episode. But if you want to talk about all of these signings, you can pop on our Discord, neutralzonehotel.com/Discord. We would love to have you. We've integrated Puckpedia, so you'll be able to see at the moment anything happens. And you can bring your very valuable opinions.
We love a good opinion.
So that's going to be what that looks like. You should also join our Discord because we might be putting out the call for some people to help us out with some of the games. All right. So let's catch up on the hockey news for the past week, starting with the Carolina Hurricanes win the Stanley Cup.
The evil is defeated.
Oh, one evil is defeated.
Yeah.
The relatively lesser evil is defeated.
Yeah.
Everybody seems really happy for Rod Brind'Amour, I guess.
I don't really care about that.
I don't either. He already has a Stanley Cup.
Be real. Didn't really care about the Stanley Cup Finals at all.
Yeah. Apparently, this Stanley Cup Finals had the best ratings on ESPN in years.
Wow. I mean, I heard the games were good from the people who were watching them.
Yeah.
Part of that is ESPN and who are the guys who do the ratings? Nielsen?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Nielsen changed the way they handle streaming ratings this year.
Really?
Yeah. So they changed the formula for how streaming is calculated, which has led to probably a more accurate count. And of course, the hockey boom following the Olympics is a big part of that. And both markets being American markets, I think, is probably a big part of that. And, you know, at the end of the day, some of those games sound like they were pretty good. I particularly liked all five that Carter Hart let in 4 goals.
Yeah, that was sick. He cried, too, when they lost. And I liked that. That was really fun. I was like, yes, turn it up. This is my favorite song.
I turned it on just in time to see his tears. And I was like Eric Cartman in that episode of South Park where he feeds the kid his own parents. The tears of ultimate sadness. Yum.
Oh.
Yeah. Love to see bad things happen to that piece of shit.
Oh man, South Park was a screwed up show.
Colorado's own South Park.
Yeah. In all seriousness, so I have two thoughts for that. So the first is I want to congratulate the Carolina Hurricanes fans for getting audible "She Said No" chants going in all games played in Carolina during the final. Good job. No notes. Keep it up.
Yep.
The second is I think Vegas losing is good for the theory of buying distressed assets.
Mm-hmm.
There have been multiple players over the years and coaches, and I want to be clear, this applies to coaches as well, because we will talk about a little bit more about the Babcock situation. But there's been a theory over the years that buying distressed assets leads to a competitive advantage. And I just don't think that was necessarily true. And Carter Hart being definitively one of the reasons why Vegas lost the finals, I think is indicative of that. So
I also feel like a lot of times, similar to what we're seeing with Babcock, bringing in a distressed asset also causes huge rifts in the locker room and the fan base in ways that I don't think benefit anyone. Apparently, Vegas is the team all have little to no morals, so that didn't seem to happen, but they still lost because of their piece of shit rapist. So that's cool.
I just need to break in here really quickly and mention that apparently Hamilton just had Ben Sherratt's daughter make their third round pick, which is just very funny. I don't know.
he's probably from Hamilton.
Yeah, he probably is. This cute little girl.
Yeah, I have no problem with Ben Sherratt as a person or a father. I just never want to see him on the blue line of my hockey team. And conversely, I always want to see him on the blue line of the hockey team mine is playing against.
Absolutely. Yeah.
My thoughts on Carter Hart Stanley Cup Final. I think it's very curious that it couldn't have just been a Tortorella decision. It was probably also McCrimmon, Tortorella, and the rest of the coaching staff who decided that under no circumstances were they going to take Carter Hart out and put in their Stanley Cup winning goalie, Aiden Hill, who sat on the bench the entire series. Very baffling. They were asked after every game, after Carter Hart totally shit the bed, hey, why don't you put in Aiden Hill? Why don't and they every time they responded with audible scorn to the question, like it was Tortorella said it was the stupidest question he'd ever heard at one point. This was after game 3 or 4. It was very, very strange behavior. An Aiden Hill trade must be coming. So as a result of that, they seem to think that Carter Hart is their guy. And
after having the worst goalie performance in the Stanley Cup Finals of all time. So what a baffling move.
Yeah. May they have all joy of it. Ugh.
At least Torts answered the question, so they didn't lose any more draft picks.
Well, he's got now, so he won't be answering or not answering any questions.
I don't think anyone expected Tortorella to remain unless they won the Stanley Cup, including John Tortorella. And they may not have kept him even if they did win the Stanley Cup. But certainly there was no appetite to retain Tortorella after the amount of criticism he took for failing to bench Hart. And they did the thing they'd long been expected to do and promoted their guy from Henderson.
Yep. Very, very quickly. They have already officially announced that Ryan Craig is the new VG head coach. So
it's been 2 days total. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so folks, normally we record on Tuesday. We're recording on Wednesday this week. Tortorella was announced as departing on Monday, and today they announced the replacement. So very, very quick. I think my other big thought on this is, as much as I dislike the way that Rod Brindamore teams play hockey, and it is a little bit of anti-hockey, I am in awe of the speed with which, God damn it, what's his name? The GM.
Polsky.
I am in
Polsky.
awe with the speed that Eric Tulsky brought a Stanley Cup to Carolina following his aggressive data-based, analytical system.
Well, he was there before as an AGM, and I think he had quite a lot of decision-making power. Maybe the only thing I think that really changed is his elevation allowed him to start being a little bit more aggressive. You can't tell me that they would have traded Rantanen so quickly, like, what was it, 3 weeks? If that had been, the other guy, the guy who went to Columbus instead of Tulsky in the big chair.
I'm done to it.
No, that's the owner.
Oh. I know the guy you're talking about.
I know. I know. We all know it. He's such a non-entity of a GM, though.
The other piece there is, I think they did make some weird choices beforehand, like the Jesperi Kotkaniemi offer sheet was one of the dumbest things. This was a player that was not particularly good, and they went out and got him, and it turns out he's still not particularly good.
Don Waddell.
Yeah,
I liked the drama. The drama was great.
Yeah, look, the $20 signing bonus. Like, I'm not. But at the end of the day, I think that if more general managers look at this and say, I need to look at my players analytically, which is a direction we're moving in, but certainly is not by any means complete, then I think that is good for the NHL. And I know you don't care about Rod Brindamore, but I kind of love Rod Brindamore just as a person. He has a certain infectious joy about winning that I think is delightful. And I've loved him since that kind of first cup run they went on in 2003. He was fun in that one. And he was a lot of fun when they won in 2006. And he was very fun this year. And the video of him ripping his shirt off to bench press the cup was great.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you heard, but he changed up, once they got to the playoffs, he changed up the Hurricanes' physical routine so that they would do a 35-pound over-the-head lift of a weight. So he was teaching them how to lift the Stanley Cup the whole time. And I think
that's such a cool story. I love that so much.
That's very funny.
We talk a lot about people doing things and we call it loser shit. That is winner shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is really, really cool. So
funny as hell.
I congratulations to the Carolina Hurricanes. It's great sometimes to see a team break through. And the only thing that I can take away from it is I don't think there's any coaches out there who can coach like Rod Brindamore. So I'm not that worried about defensive, boring hockey taking over the NHL.
Win for the nerds, though, and I am looking forward to that. We love a win for the nerds.
Yeah.
Let's see, NHL stuff. So we talked about the coaching situation in Vegas, but also announced Jim Hiller has been hired as the head coach in Toronto.
Why?
SJ, I know you have no love for Jim Hiller.
I just think he's not a good coach. I don't know. Maybe that's just the LA stink. It's going to be interesting to see what he does with a team that has Austin Matthews and William Nylander on it. He's not going to be coaching that team the same way they coached in LA. LA had a real organizational philosophy over being as god awful as possible.
Absolutely.
So, he's an interesting choice. I feel like I'm not sure we needed him back as a retread, but here he is. Once you get that first NHL job, it seems like you're in it for life. So welcome back, Jim.
Now, all fairness to Jim Hiller, he did have to contend with, I think, some of the worst blue line signings of any recent GM. And John Chaika has moved out one of Toronto's biggest black hole defenders already. So they traded away Joseph Woll and Simon Benoit for who was it? Urson and another player, another
Emile
depth,
Andre.
yeah, and a third.
Andre is definitely he's a D. I think he's an upgrade over Benoit.
And Benoit is a real 200 hockey man type player, but he posted his 3-year average goal for percentage was like 44%, which is real stinky.
Yeah.
So this is a guy who he might be big and strong, but he allows guys to skate around him and he allows more attempts than teams create.
Yeah.
So I think that's a positive sign for Jim Hiller if he's not going to be asked to play with guys like Cody Ceci and Brian Dumoulin for 40 minutes a night. That should help. There's still a lot of work to do to clean up that Toronto back end. But this was a good portion of it. And it sounds like Joseph Woll was extraneous to their needs. So it's a bit of I think they see $4.5 million on cap, more if they decide to send Urson to the minors or if they don't qualify him at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I won't be shocked if they don't if they just decide not to qualify him. It was a cap dump, and they got back a little better prospect in Emile Andre than they had. So it's a fine trade.
It was a nerd move.
Yeah.
Nerds.
And this is the kind of guy that John Chaika was advertised as being when he got hired in Arizona.
Yep.
And he did some of it, especially early, but the desperation grew rapidly there. We'll see if Toronto has any...
He was busy with fast food franchising.
Well, those Wendy's aren't going to run themselves. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, I think it's a good trade. I think they expect Hiller to be better than he was in LA because LA had a stinky roster. And I guess we'll see. It was certainly, in some ways, a safer pick than it could have been, but certainly, I think, not as safe as they could have gone. Like, if they'd really want to go safe, they would have gone out and gotten Laviolette, for example. Just paid him whatever he wanted to come to Toronto, go and get a guy who's won a cup, etc. So,
but where did Peter Laviolette go? Because he did go.
He did go.
He went to the Kings.
He went to the Kings, so he took Jim Hiller's old job. DJ Smith, once again, not going to get that promotion full time, which is the correct move. DJ Smith is a terrible head coach.
I think Laviolette's a decent head coach. I don't know what anyone can do in LA right now, but could be worse. Could be going for Babcock.
Yeah, Laviolette's won a Stanley Cup, which I think is something that, is always in demand as a coach. He has coached 846 wins over the course of his career, 1,600 games, so he's above 500. He's been decent in the playoffs as a coach. I don't think he's a bad coach at all. I question whether or not he will be able to get much more out of LA's roster.
That may be an impossible task, in all honesty.
Yeah, well, they've still got, 3 more years of the Dumoulin Ceci pair. I don't know how old Drew Doughty is, but he's going to be one of the oldest players in the league next year, if not the oldest player in the league. I think it depends on Brent Burns.
Yep.
So their defense is looking pretty rough, and on Anze Kopitar is retiring. The forward core has some upside, but LA, I think, they're just like guaranteed to be a mushy middle team right now. And that's the worst place to be.
I think mushy middle is their like high end. And that's thanks to their division.
Yeah, the Pacific is garbage right now. We'll see if any of that changes next year. But I think a lot of Kings fans and media remember the first Stanley Cup where they came in at 8th and they went and won the whole thing. But that ignored that team was, having a historically bad PDO bender during the year. And Jonathan Quick went Super Saiyan and won a very deserved Conn Smythe that year. So I don't think that Darcy Kemper is Jonathan Quick. So good luck, though, to Peter Laviolette in LA. He's a good systems guy, and if there's any juice to be squeezed out of it, he'll get it,
I mean, Panarin's aging, but he's still a good player.
Agreed.
Yeah, they've got Panarin for 2 years, right?
Something like that.
Panarin loves big cities.
Yeah. And they've got, he's Russian.
He was never going to go to Seattle. Sorry, Botterill. Good try.
It was always going to be LA or New York for him. And honestly, I get it.
Yeah.
The final piece of the coaching carousel is Edmonton. So as we discussed last week, the Oilers are interested in hiring Mike Babcock. The NHLPA, we did say it didn't look like the NHLPA was going to do an investigation. That changed the same day we recorded because, of course, it did. And they've now asked the NHL to do a full investigation into Babcock's time in Columbus. A couple things have come out. The first is that there are several people, former staffers, who are not interested in participating at this point in their lives. It's 3 years later sort of deal. And the second is that almost certainly one of the aggrieved players was Patrick Laine, which explains a lot of his challenges on and off the ice, as well as his desire to leave Columbus basically as quickly as possible.
Mm.
So I think there's a very good chance that they will do their investigation. They will find that nobody wants to really talk to them and that memories have faded after 3 years and people aren't as mad anymore and they don't want to dig it all up. And they'll close the book on it and Babcock will get hired again. And this is going to be exactly the way that they wanted it to occur. They're not interested in finding wrongdoing. And because if they had been actually looking to get at the real truth and really advocating for players, they would have done the investigation when it was fresh instead of waiting for 3 years.
I do think that there's findings from the investigation initially that were not released that may be released, and that could potentially have some juice to it, but I don't know. Like SJ said, I don't know how much they actually care. So
I don't understand this. I've heard a lot of people say that the NHL is going to release findings, and I don't think that's true at all.
I just keep seeing it, and I'm like, what does that mean?
I don't think there is any chance that they're going to release details. I think they're going to deliver a report to the teams. Maybe some of that report gets leaked to insiders, but I don't for a second think that Gary Bettman is going to release anything publicly and deliberately.
Mm-hmm.
He's never done that. It's just such an odd assumption that he would.
Yeah. Well, even with the Chicago sexual assault report, they didn't say any of that stuff leaked. Mm-hmm. Right? The NHL is always interested in controlling the message, and this won't be any different. The only thing they will announce is whether or not Babcock is eligible. Mm-hmm. And we will not know any of the deliberations. Same as with Bowman and Quinville and any of the other guys that the NHL has ruled ineligible. they will not tell us the machinations. They will simply tell us the decision they've made, and we should be lucky they tell us that much.
Unless something leaks, which I wouldn't be shocked if something leaked.
Oh,
with
things will leak.
this. Like, I don't know that things will get released, but I do think people will leak things, and I think there will be.
Well, at the end of the day, they'll have to share it with the PA, right?
Yeah.
And the PA will ensure that certain parts of it get leaked the same way they did for the Chicago report.
Yep. I do know, we did hear that people on the Oilers are not particularly pleased with this. Like, some of the players that aren't the leadership core have expressed, not publicly by name, but have expressed dismay with the this attempted signing, and I don't blame them. I would be upset as well.
There have been rumors that people are calling their agents being like, make sure I don't get traded to Edmonton.
And I also don't think it's a coincidence that the day after this got announced, Darnell Nurse requested a trade. So that's the kind of guy that Babcock has historically gone after. Public whipping boy, generally considered underperforming, a little bit older, certainly not a star. Let's just call it how it is. He's black, and Babcock has not shown any consideration for those sorts of things either. I think he would treat Darnell Nurse like shit. So no surprise, Nurse is on the way out. And yeah, like, okay, the team's leadership group wants to go ahead and hire Babcock. Connor McDavid would never have to fear Mike Babcock's nonsense. Neither would a player like Evan Bouchard or Leon Draisaitl or Zach Hyman. The Hyman family is personally connected to the Babcock family. Babcock's son was just hired by Hyman's hockey league. So there are a lot of personal connections to the leadership group. But the Edmonton Oilers, of all teams in this league, are 6 famous guys and a bunch of people that Mike Babcock would traditionally make fun of. So I certainly do not blame any player for not wanting to go there. The interesting rumor I heard is they're also interested in Daryl Sutter. Which, if you want to bring in a guy who is a famous hard ass, but not bad off the ice, Daryl Sutter is your guy.
Oh, so funny.
But I cannot imagine a deeper disconnect from Chris Knobloch's coaching style than Daryl Sutter.
No, just insane.
I think that's a better choice than Babcock. Like, if that's the direction you want to go, you think that there's too much of a player's coach, like, I don't know, you can choose someone who isn't unknown evil person. Like, even I'm not a fan, but like, at least he's not Mike Babcock. Like, that's like the nuclear option.
He chased Kachuk right out of Calgary.
Fair. That's fair.
Right out of Calgary.
I'm not saying it's a good decision. I'm just saying it would be a better decision.
I don't know. I'm just so tired of talking about freaking Mike Babcock. It just drives me bananas.
Well, hopefully this is the last time we have to talk about it. I expect something tells me this is going to take a while to hit a resolution.
Absolutely.
And the Oilers are going to keep their vacancy open.
I think it's going to be fast.
Really? I don't know.
Yeah. I think they're going to want to open and shut this.
I don't. Do you think it gets resolved before free agency opens?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm also team. I think they'll drag it out.
I think the PA will force them to drag it out.
Yeah.
I don't think they will.
Okay.
We'll see who's right. It doesn't matter either way.
Hey, it really doesn't.
You know what? John Tortorella is available.
They could hire John Tortorella.
He'll get Connor McDavid to block shots. It'll be fine.
Yeah. He won't be able to tell the goalie to make saves, though. That's kind of what you want a coach to do.
Imagine him cutting McDavid and Draisaitl's ice time because he wants to play the lines more evenly, like he always does.
We've got to play these 3 nameless scrubs rather than Connor McDavid because reasons.
15 minutes a night, baby.
Mark Donk needs more ice time.
I think that the coaching decision for Edmonton is huge. I think it will be fascinating to see what they do if they aren't allowed to hire Babcock. And I think it'll be really interesting to see if Connor McDavid sours on Babcock if they do bring him in, because at the end of the day, the clock is ticking. They have to win a cup in the next 2 years or Connor McDavid is gonzo.
If I was Connor McDavid, I would ask for a trade instead of asking for Mike Babcock to come in. But I'm not Connor McDavid because I wouldn't be with the Edmonton Oilers anymore if I was as good as him.
If he wanted to leave, he just wouldn't have re-signed last season. But I think he does very much. I think he's very conscious of his legacy.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he recognizes that if he can bring a cup to Edmonton, then that cements his legacy in a city that, has quite a few greats already in the rafters.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not he remains with Edmonton after, he can make that decision then.
But go to LA.
Or New York.
He could go home. Toronto.
We don't know where McDavid might go if that happens. But the point is...
Seattle, Washington.
Seattle, Washington might have the money for him. The point is he's given the 2-year contract was essentially a deadline. Get me a cup. Get me what we need to win a cup. And if Edmonton fails on that, which I think they will, I don't think Stan Bowman he doesn't have the juice to make this happen. So if Stan Bowman fails on that, like I think he will, Connor McDavid is probably going to move. And if McDavid moves, it's going to be one of the most incredible, be it trades or free agency periods that ever happens. But we are definitely in that period right now. We're looking at that.
We interrupt this podcast with a breaking news bulletin.
Hey folks, this is SJ breaking in from the editing room to let you know that today, June 18, the NHL cleared Mike Babcock to begin coaching again this season. So that took absolutely no time at all. And I was right. Back to the show.
I don't have any profound thoughts on the NHL or PWHL awards.
Lot of awards for Boston, considering they didn't win the regular season, and they kind of came in second, and they didn't do anything in the playoffs. But they sure run. Aaron Frankel sure won a lot of awards.
That makes sense to me.
I mean, with all the awards she won, I'm sure she never let in a soft goal just before overtime in Game 3 of the first round of the playoffs. That definitely never would have happened.
Maybe they're just gave her the award for Olympic gold medal. Instead of being I don't feel like you got enough award for the Olympic.
Ultimately, I think Boston played a very good systems game. I think Chris Bauer is a very good coach.
I have never seen a women, when I watched them play in person, I have never seen a PWHL team jump in front of so many pucks. Like they were a shot blocking machine. And to the extent that like I was like, well, it's a good thing they only have to do this for 30 games. Cause oh my God.
Absolutely. But I think one of the things that is under notice is the first 15 games of the year, Boston was barely scoring, and Frankel was making massive amounts. She was saving I think it was 20 goals above expected by the midpoint of the season. Ridiculous numbers.
Her first half of the season was just unbelievably amazing. And so I get why they wanted to reward that, because I know it's kind of away from people's memories, but I do think it's commendable.
Over the course of the whole season's Debian outplayed her.
I agree. But I think that if you look at it as a true most valuable player, I think that if you swap Debian for another goalie, Montreal still makes the playoffs and possibly wins the league. If you swap out Frankel for another goalie who's not Debian, Boston was going to lose almost all their first 10 or 15 games.
I mean, I think that's a good argument for giving her MVP, but Debian probably should have gotten goaltender of the year.
I will concur that.
That seems fair. I do think tuba player is an important award that we should acknowledge.
Yes. Amanda Boulier.
Yeah. But otherwise, I don't care about. I don't have I don't not care. I just don't have any serious thoughts. I just think that's the most important award. It's right up there with the Marc Messier Leadership Award.
I mean, we'll have to see who can compete with Amanda Boulier next year for the best tuba player in the PWHL.
That's right.
I got to give that girl credit. Tuba during the victory parade.
This is so fun.
Especially when you're about this big and the tuba is also about that big.
Incredible stuff.
Great things.
Yeah.
All right. So PWHL draft is currently going on as we talk. KK Harvey goes first overall to Vancouver as expected. Vancouver gets basically a Claire Thompson replacement / upgrade. Abby Murphy goes to Seattle. SJ, how do you feel about Abby Murphy?
She's a great player. I think she's gonna score a lot of goals, make a lot of assists. Yeah, she's a great player. She's not the player the fan base wanted. She's not the player that I wanted. I really wanted Layla Edwards. I'm a little concerned by how vehemently against the pick the fan base is. And if you look at the Instagram comments and the Blue Sky comments on the post, people are really upset about it. And Murphy has a reputation for two things: being kind of MAGA and taking a lot of really unnecessary aggressive penalties on the ice.
I try to know as little about players' political opinions as possible.
I know this against my will.
I did know her reputation on the ice for sure.
I can't speak to anything she's actually said. I don't know or done. All I can say is that she has that reputation.
Mm-hmm.
So my concern is, now I don't necessarily think that means she's a bad person, but my concern is that the fan base may not embrace her and she may not like it here, and that this is going to be 2 years and done. In which case, then we're not really building for the future. I just don't know if she's going to fit well with the city. I don't know. I give it the summer. Maybe the fan base is like, well, she's a torrent, so we got to welcome her. Maybe we can make her see how great it is here, and she's young, she can grow as a person. Although she's already 24. She was a 5-year. She played the NCAA for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she just is who she is, but Yeah. Yeah, this is where we're at. So I do very much hope that Seattle's penalty kill is very good next year because they're going to need it.
Las Vegas has 3 of the first 13 picks. They use all of them on forwards, selecting Tessa Janicki, Lacey Eaton, and Izzy Wonder. First of all, Izzy Wonder, what a great name.
It is a great name.
Gotta give it to her. Fantastic.
Sick
A+
jersey
name.
for sure.
Yeah. No defenders selected in a draft where the first round was heavy on defenders. Do we feel that they have overshot?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm like almost expecting Didier to make some like incredible trade. They do have 4 defenders in Batherson, Cooper, Carter, and Ambrose. That Ambrose Carter pair is probably perfectly adequate as your first pair. So maybe they were like, well, let's get something going up front, and like they're going to be able to hand out some pretty massive contracts to Janicki and Eden that are going to set them up to want to stay forever. Oh, could be. I think in a lot of ways they're building for the future in Vegas. It's not necessarily just a win today kind of team.
Erin Ambrose is definitely getting the captaincy there, isn't she?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Kirsten Sims falls to 8th. Toronto gets some badly needed goal scoring. Did you expect her to go? Or I thought she was going in the top 5. So this was a shock to me.
I mean, I'm not gonna pretend to know anything about the NCAA. All I can tell you is what I've read on the mock drafts and stuff. So I guess I'm not shocked, only because I did not have a lot. I was not burdened by massive expectations. Yeah, good for them.
Yeah. Boston picking a defender in the first round. That was shocking to me, given losing Alina Mueller, retaining Haley Wynn and Megan Keller. I found that really shocking.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really not happy with Ottawa's decision to pick stay-at-home defender Vivian Jungles as their first-round pick.
But she has such a fun name.
Who would you have preferred?
Petra Nieminen, the player who went next to Montreal. Ottawa needs a forward. They need a center desperately. They got one in the second round, but I think that there's the possibility to get a much better one and still possibly have drafted Vivian Jungles at 23.
Oh, the Torrent just took a U Sports player.
Yeah.
From UBC. That's cool.
Yeah. Other notes from the first couple of rounds. Andrea Brandley goes to Detroit. They get their goaltender. They get the best available goaltender.
Yeah. Yeah, there was it was interesting they didn't get to pick until the second round because they had traded their third overall pick away for Hillary Knight. We have to talk about expansion.
Okay.
The expansion draft. It's been wild. And then there were a couple of trades yesterday of players who got taken in expansion getting traded back to their teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ella Huber traded back to Boston and Abby Boreen traded back to Vancouver.
I thought that was very interesting.
I think that is like that is what you would. I think that's what we would have expected from a pro hockey expansion draft, and the fact that it didn't really happen last year is like odd. That's how you use your resources at the end of the draft. Like you get draft picks. You don't need every player that you pick. So, yeah, I don't know.
I think Abby Boreen is a very good player, but at best middle six, and Vancouver was able to trade Vegas was able to trade up to get that 13th pick and replace her with Izzy Wonder, a player who is almost certainly a top 6 forward. That seems great to me, right? Like,
yeah,
and they got
absolutely.
another pick for it. They got a mid-round pick.
Yeah.
Very similar deal for Huber as well. You know, they were able to get an extra pick for her just to send her back. So,
yeah, I think it's interesting how attached the existing team GMs were to those players. Vancouver seems to be incredibly attached to their entire roster, considering they retained every single player except for 2.
Which GM or which team, including the first couple rounds of the draft, which team do you think won the expansion?
Hamilton.
Not San Jose.
I think it's Vegas.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think Hamilton is very built to win now. Detroit also built to win now, but maybe didn't get as much good stuff in the draft. But I think Vegas, with those 3 forwards, has put basically Izzy Wonder in another draft year is a top 3 forward, right? In the draft. Both players that Vegas took, both Janicki and Eden, could be first overall picks any other. Like, they would have been first overall picks last year, second at best.
Yeah.
At worst.
Yeah, I think including the draft, it's Vegas for sure.
Yeah, and you absolutely have to include the draft because that was part of their strategy.
Absolutely.
This year being the year where you get to keep these players, combined with the fact that this is a generational year, and next year's draft might actually be stinky because the NCAA is extending their rules to allow
5 and 5.
Yeah, allow for 5 and 5. All of that combined means that I think those picks, those 3 of the first 13 picks, have exceptional value. And yeah, Vancouver walks it with KK Harvey, and she's amazing, and she's going to be the star of that team forever. And Seattle, hopefully, Abby Murphy she loves it and sticks around, same deal. But Las Vegas got 3 of those players.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that is the sort of stuff you build a franchise around. I don't think it means they win this year. I do think it means that they win 2 years down the road, 2 or 3 years down the road, sort of deal.
And probably have extended success 2 or 3 years down the road. As much as it pains me to say, I do think Vegas is going to be good.
I do think that we need to be careful not to transfer the sins of the VGK onto PWHL Las Vegas. They aren't.
Oh, I hate them for other reasons.
I mean, I get that you're pissed off that Denver didn't get a team, but that's not Vegas's fault. If anything, it's Kroenke's fault. So, yeah. But there are people, I've definitely seen a lot of people in the overall PWHL fan base intent on conflating these 2 organizations, and I think that's an incorrect frame. If anything, Rayum in Detroit has been the most mercenary of the expansion
Absolutely.
GMs. And I am already nursing a great anger over losing certain players to Detroit. Although I have to think, I'm less mad about the EFO to Hillary Knight since Detroit lost their 3rd overall pick for her. I'm just impressed. I'm impressed by the gamesmanship from Vegas there. I think Didia kind of killed it. She had a real, okay, here's something to think about. By the end of the expansion draft, I think was really clear that each of these GMs they came in with a strategy and they executed it. And those strategies did differ. And that is fascinating to me. Vegas, they started and they signed like nobody for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like not the biggest names. And it took that EFO forever because I think Hillary Knight was not their top EFO choice. I think that was the second choice. There were only 3 EFOs. There was clearly a lot of existing teams where signed players and unsigned players were reluctant to move. There was clearly a lot of resistance. The Golden Eyes losing nobody in before phase 3. I think who else did a pretty good job of retaining players? I have to check. Montreal did a pretty good job of retaining players. They managed to hold on to Abbey Rock.
One of the big fish in expansion, Abbey Rock, not moving. That was big. There are a lot of names out there. We still have to see where they land. People that I would have assumed would have been on the radar, like your Emma Maltese or your Jesse Eldridge's.
Yeah.
So they definitely, in that aspect, I think Montreal did quite well.
But on the other hand, like the Sirens and the Torrent only lost 3 players under contract, and I think 2 or 3, I think not under contract. They lost Megan Carter, but those were all really impactful players. Every player they lost was an impact player. Yeah. And the Sirens also really bled. It's clear there were real winners and losers among the existing teams in this draft. And I think there are real winners and losers among the expansion teams. You cannot defend Troy Ryan's choices in expansion.
It makes me so sad that my favorite expansion team is going to be so bad.
I mean, Layla Edwards is going to be great, though.
Those beautiful jersey colors are going to get wasted, except for on Layla Edwards.
You can just watch Layla Edwards skate around.
I love her so much. I'm really excited they got her.
She's so cool. She's so cool.
The Kristen O'Neill EFO is inexcusable.
Yeah.
It is the NHL equivalent of giving a $12.5 million deal to I don't know, who's a middle 6 forward on a middling team?
I think the fact that we can't name one is kind of signature.
You know what? I'm gonna put it this way. It is the NHL equivalent of giving a $10+ million deal to Alex Tuck. That's what I'm going to say. Sorry.
I think $10 million to Alex Tuck is more defensible.
I would agree. Yeah. I think it's giving that deal to a player that you kind of forget exists until you hear their name. That's the vibe.
It's very clear.
Jaden Schwartz.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, I guess
say this
I've
with
heard
affection.
of that player before.
I love Jaden Schwartz.
But you wouldn't want Seattle to pay him $12.5 million.
I would not. No, that would be awful.
That would be insane for any team to pay him that much money.
So, Chris, I bet you no one was more shocked that Kristen O'Neill got an EFO than Kristen O'Neill.
I mean, I'm sure she was she got a call from Ryan or her agent or whoever and they were like, so we're going to give you so I want to issue you an EFO, and like, would you be open to that? And she was probably like, really?
I mean, go girl, get that bag, but
I guess so.
like, congratulations.
I know you're looking for a Victoire. Let me get you Abby Rock's number. Yeah.
Wild stuff. I mean, yeah, unfortunate.
I don't think he got any bad players, but he got just the most middliness of player, like the most mid of mid players.
Yeah. Like, probably no actively bad players, but the fact is that, like, this is not an impactful roster. Ann Chernowski, Kristen O'Neill, Maddie Wheeler, Maggie Connors, Natalie Mlinkova, Rory Gilday, Daniela Peshova, Mariah Keppel, Hadley Hartnett, and Corinne Schroeder.
Those are sure players.
When he signed Hadley Hartnett, I was just like, who the hell is that? As I put it on the Discord, Lindy Lobdell tweet, but for Hadley Hartnett, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's how I felt about most of San Jose's signings. Is like, oh, who? And then I had to look them up, and I'm like, this could be worse, I guess. But yeah, not good.
They're all perfectly adequate players that I would have expected to go in like phase 5, not in phase 2, 3.
They certainly belong on teams. I just don't. They shouldn't be priorities for. Yeah,
they're not
teams
core.
Building a roster.
Just a very quick update. We're almost at the end of round 4, or we're partway through round 4. New York still hasn't picked a goaltender.
What is happening?
The 2 top goaltenders are already off the board.
That's true.
So I think at this
if
stage,
only there had been opportunities to draft them.
I mean, maybe they're planning on trading for one. They could get Kristen O'Neill, or sorry, they could get Kristen Campbell.
Good old Kristen O'Neill.
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing in New York. I don't know why he still has a job.
That franchise has always felt wayward to me.
Yeah.
I think they're simply going to score their way out of any problems because they're going to have a bunch of good goal scorers, and that's it.
I mean, they're not. I guess they've largely retained their defense.
That's a problem.
I guess.
Yeah, I don't think their defense is anything to write home about.
Yeah, Jamie Bourbonnais, Micah Zandy Hart, Maya Nealon Person. I guess. Man, Zandy Hart's 29. Getting up there.
Yeah. Well, any final thoughts? Who do you think lost the draft? Who do you think of the existing teams and of the new teams? Who would you put down for losing the draft?
I mean, aside from Layla Edwards, I feel like obviously San Jose.
Yeah.
Just across the board, which pains me to say because I wanted them to be good. Did the Sirens be the worst of the existing teams? It's not Vancouver or Seattle, but they also got handed the best draft picks.
I think that Seattle, there's a real good chance they lost the draft of the existing teams. I think it's them and the Sirens. Not because they didn't. Maybe Seattle didn't max out on losing players, but they lost many of their best players.
I got to go with Seattle as well. The protections were curious, and I think it comes down to, it sounds like Knight, Bilka, and Barnes basically told them we want to go together. and if you're not going to protect us all sort of deal, we're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have no evidence for that other than it sounds like Bilka and Barnes signed to Detroit because they thought Knight was coming.
Yeah, apparently Knight was telling people she was going to Detroit before the EFO.
Wow.
And ultimately, I think that is the biggest gut. And I'm in, like, Ottawa, I'm pissed off about Brianne Jenner. And I will probably die angry that they didn't offer her a contract. And it hurts. But we also kept a starting goaltender. So, like, New York still doesn't have one.
Yeah.
So I think it's Seattle, New York, then Ottawa. Of the new teams, I think it's San Jose beating out Detroit by a smidge. And the reason I would put Detroit as the next team is because they don't get a first round pick this year and they miss out on a generational player. They've committed to a lot of age, and they've committed to essentially a win now setup. And I just think, in 3 years they're going to be garbage.
Yeah, absolutely.
The problem is I also think San Jose will be garbage in 3 years because Troy Ryan's probably still going to be there.
So this is Detroit. Knight, she's going to be 37. Watts, she's only 27. Bilka, 25. Comfer, 27. Curl, 26. Dark Angelo, 33. Gerard, 28. Barnes, 27. Bard, 25. Job Smith, 25.
Right, but how many of those players are sticking around once Knight retires? And that's like, it sounds like Bilka and Barnes are not necessarily committed.
Barnes
don't know.
has a 3-year contract, and Bilka has a 2-year contract.
So, but like, I think in 3 years they're going to be on the downswing.
Yeah.
The thing is I think in 3 years,
Barnes signed a 3-year contract in Seattle too.
Yeah, contracts don't mean as much in this league as they do in the NHL anyway.
They don't.
But I think that the only reason San Jose is like worse for a long-term perspective is they're going to start down and they're never going to go up. Like they got no juice.
I do somewhat respect the mercenary aspect of Detroit. But yeah, they're not building for certain. So, I mean, obviously, I think Vegas really hit it out of the park. Those ugly uniforms.
If Manon Rhéaume had known that she was trading the 3rd overall pick for Hillary Knight, I don't think she would have done it.
That's fair. I think you're right.
I agree.
1 year.
And
1 year of Hillary Knight.
I don't know how much say she had in this at that stage.
Yeah.
That's also fair.
Okay. We have to end this before SJ kills us for talking too long.
That's true.
It's true. SJ does do a murder if we make them edit a long episode. So, folks, we hope that you've had a great season. We'll see you next episode for some fun and games and mailbag. So you can leave your questions on Discord. You can hit us up at neutralzonehotel.bsky.social on Blue Sky. You can DM me, whatever you want to do. We'll get you some questions. We already have a couple. And we'll do some games. Maybe check out our Discord, neutralzonehotel.com/Discord for that. But until then, we've been the Neutral Zone Hotel, written, hosted, and produced by us, Neutral Zone Hotel crew. I feel like I already did a bunch of the cool stuff here. The outro music's probably playing. So I'm going to say, whatever you're doing, thumbs up on YouTube, smash the like button, 5 stars on your podcast player, tell a friend, let them know about what a great season you've had with the Neutral Zone Hotel. And we will see you very soon.